Do you hear crickets? Or, I'm sorry, not crickets. They're actually spring peepers.
Yes, I do hear them.
Well, let me close my window then.
Yeah. Your mic is very sensitive. That's been proven in the past with cars and whatnot.
Well, just at the top.
That's right.
Tucker, I thought your sport was F1 racing.
Boo. Wow. You can tell Michael's back.
Hey.
All right.
This smells like a Michael podcast.
That's right.
So, guys, Ace Combat.
No, we're not talking about Ace Combat. They didn't talk about Hawks. So we're gonna go through the conferences, and this is just the most effective way that we've figured out to do it. We're just gonna talk about our personal highlights of said conferences. Maybe we can go in like a triangle fashion. We can start with Michael. Michael, was there anything from the EA conference that you liked?
We're doing the Triforce.
We're doing the
That's right. You can consider this the Triforce of E3.
Okay. I have to really think. I think both Sony and Microsoft actually came out. Like, those were the two that I think I enjoyed watching the most.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't really pay attention to. I guess I kind of had the problem where all these conferences were happening while I was working. So I could only really cut in and out.
Right, and then maybe you had to watch them after. Well, can all three of us agree that the EA conference didn't really have much worth mentioning?
Yes.
I didn't even watch it.
See, there we go.
It was really bad.
Mass Effect Andromeda. I liked the video, but it didn't show enough. The Star Wars, don't even get me fucking started.
Zach, tell me about the Star Wars games coming out at EA.
I can't because they didn't tell us anything about them either.
Oh,
but there was that previewed DLC with the space battles and the VR.
Right,
that was at Sony though, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was at Sony, but there was a really cool it was a really well-produced video that basically went around the world to all the different teams that are working on Star Wars games, but they didn't show us anything, and they didn't tell us what the games were. So it's like, we're here at whatever the fuck studio this is. We're talking about the Star Wars game. You know that we're making a Star Wars game, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
What an accent is this? Where's this studio?
Hey, exactly. I don't know. Halfway around the world. You've got no idea. It could be Australia. It could be Russia. It could be anywhere.
That was a strange Russian accent.
Oh, no. It was a mix. I wasn't going for anything specific. My point is...
So it's Ubisoft.
This was one hell of a deal, man. I'm not happy about the way that conference went at all. The only thing they confirmed is what we already knew already, which was that there will be a Battlefront 2. So,
that's the magic of E3.
I didn't watch it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they at least reference the fact there's a Visceral game in the works?
They said there was a Visceral game, and they showed a clip. They showed a clip of a guy walking out of a house, and he's on one of the desert planets, and you can see Star Destroyers in the sky. There's 3 of them, and a TIE fighter flies by. And they also said that one of the studios, I can't remember who it was, is making a specific they're making a game that they straight up said is in a different era. And when they were talking about that studio, they showed motion capture footage of people fighting with what's supposed to be lightsabers. So I'm guessing that we're getting somewhat of a prequel era game. If not, hell, it could even be the Old Republic. Who knows?
Yay.
But we don't know for sure because they wouldn't tell us. All they do is show us motion capture footage of nothing.
Oh.
It's okay. We have Lego Star Wars.
Yay!
Yeah, that's true. Lego Star Wars looks really good. But we can talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the EA conference. I was not. That was the whole E3. No, I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with what EA had, but Bethesda.
Wait, can we go back to EA quick?
Oh, sure.
I have a question for Tucker. What's FE?
It is. So EA was like, we're evil corporate overlords, but we have a heart. So what they did was they put out this game called Unravel. And turned out to be not very good. But they had the guy on the stage with the shaky hands, and he had the little puppet. And they're like, let's do that again. So now they have this, what looks to me like Ori and the Blind Forest, but in 3D type thing.
Okay.
and it is this small studio which is in partnership with EA in the same way that Unravel was a small studio.
Okay.
And maybe it'll be good. You're like you're a little creature and you use like sounds and you have to learn different sounds, and different sounds have different abilities associated with them. It could be cool.
It could be. It could wind up being like a Lego sitch where certain, like, I don't know. Unlock
You guys and your
certain
Lego.
sound to unlock certain area and certain level.
I think it's going more for like a Metroidvania type. And that's why I think the Ori comparison.
Okay.
Because you like, there's this wall here and I can't get through it because I don't have the thing I need. And then later you get the thing and you come back and you do the thing. Because video games, you guys.
That's right. I don't even know what you guys are talking
like,
about. So.
Zelda.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
No.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
Okay, sure.
Moving on.
Another quick EA thing.
Oh, God.
Go.
I just had a question because, again, I didn't really watch the EA conference, but didn't they also like hint at this story mode kind of thing going on in sports games now or something? Or did I?
Yeah, they're making a story for FIFA, much like the at least I got a big vibe of the NBA, like My Career, My Story, whatever.
Yeah.
A Spike Lee joint. Except Spike Lee has nothing to do with this, and it's for FIFA. It's for soccer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No Pele?
We know what. Hey, Zach.
What?
Remember those old 2K football games where you had My Crib and you could like outfit it with?
I do. Yeah, I do. You're talking about
cool.
you're talking about NFL 2K5.
They had that in one of the wrestling games too. I forget which one, but I remember decking out my crib and being like, "This is a cool thing no one will ever see."
They should do that more. That's my thoughts.
They should do that more.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to the Bethesda conference.
So EA's. Wait, hold on. Zach.
Oh my God. No, we're closing the door on EA forever
Okay,
until the new Star Wars comes out, and then we'll be able to talk about it again.
Okay.
Bethesda, regardless of Tucker's opinion on Bethesda, and regardless of Tucker's opinion on the greatest game, one of the greatest games of the last generation, Skyrim, it is in fact being really re-released and remastered, and I, for one, think that this is a wonderful idea.
Can I say
Zach.
something about this?
Zach.
What?
A rainbow is wonderful.
Tucker, shut up. I want
now
to
we're
say that. Okay, I just want to ask: isn't it a little soon for a Skyrim remake?
No, I don't think so. I mean, think about it. Okay, so everybody really wanted to play, like the working in video game retail, which is what I did for a long time. When the backwards compatibility thing struck, the question that we got asked all the time was, "What are the games? Is Skyrim on the list?" Like Skyrim was, regardless of what Tucker thinks of it, because I know that he doesn't like it.
It's a bad game.
It is not, actually. It's a great game, and it's a genre defining, it's a generation defining game, and a lot of people feel the same way, and they want to play it. So, also, I will point out, it's not just Xbox One and PS4 that it's being re-released for. It's also being re-released on PC. You can see it in the video.
Which is strange to me because you can pretty much download mods and make a updated.
You can, or now they're giving you the option to just get everything in one package, which I don't have a problem with either, with retextured things, different shadows, different whatever. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. If people want to buy it, they can.
And people are going to, so
yeah,
that's the thing.
Hell, I thought about it. I'm probably not going to, but I'm thinking about it. Hearing the music and stuff in the trailer, that gets you hyped, man.
I mean, yeah, like, unlike Tucker here.
Hello.
Hi, Tucker.
I am Dragonborn.
Really enjoyed Skyrim.
Fus Roda.
And it was one of the games of my teenage years.
Yeah,
but
Michael.
Fus Roda.
Michael.
Tucker.
I used to like Skyrim, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
Curved sword.
Oh, you're so funny.
Curved sword.
The dragons.
I feel like it's really soon. I mean, I understand it's a game that everyone wants, and like it just seems really weird to me to remaster a game after 5 years. I mean, they could pull back on Oblivion or Morrowind, and I think that would have been really interesting to do that. But instead, we're getting a game that's not going to be too different from where it was.
But they would have had to have completely rebuilt both Morrowind and Oblivion to get it to run.
Yes.
And
yes,
Skyrim was easily the most popular of all three of those games. So they went with the money.
I don't want modern day Bethesda touching Morrowind at all. They can keep their mitts off of that. Just don't go in that corner.
All right.
Don't look over there.
All right.
I don't know, man. I feel like Morrowind's one of those games that's probably a good game. I didn't play it, but would be really hard to get into these days.
It would be very hard. Trust me, I tried it. It's not good.
Okay.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't like I don't like to play games from the Stone Ages. That's why.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
You swing the sword at the rat, and then the rat goes. Bah.
It's dated very poorly.
So is Skyrim.
No, it is
that.
not. No, I would not say so. One of the other highlights that I saw, and you guys can, I mean, if you don't see any, or if you don't hear me say something that you really liked about the Bethesda conference, let me know. I thought that the Prey trailer was really cool.
I have thoughts about that.
I heard about that. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I never got into Prey, but from what I understand, it's like, oh, this new Prey thing's a wacky thing.
It looks pretty cool. What are your thoughts, Tucker?
Well, let's tell the history of Prey 2. So Prey 2 was going to come out, and it was going to be this crazy. You were basically playing as a space bounty hunter, and it was going to be this crazy open world bounty hunting aliens game.
Papa Tucker, what was Prey 1?
Shut your mouth! I'm telling a story. Prey 1 was like bad Doom 3 mod as a game.
Okay.
Prey 1 was not a great game. Prey 2 looked very, very promising. And then it disappeared. And then there was a lot of question of whether it was going to come out or not. And now we get this new Prey 2 trailer, which kind of does away with everything that people thought was interesting about the Prey 2 trailer. But I still think this could be cool. The way I understand it, you're like on a space station and there's like something out to get you. Like you're the prey. But I guess that's been done so many times.
Well,
so
no,
it's not
I remember they specifically used the term warden in the trailer. So it very easily could be like a mix of the two ideas. Like maybe this space station is like a prison of some sort.
Dude, that actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
you gotta like hunt all the criminals,
or like maybe it's like an alien prison. Like if you were supposed to be like a bounty hunter for aliens or whatever, maybe this is where they put them.
I hope this lie becomes true. I don't think it's going to be that though.
Okay,
it's going to be like.
I mean that's just my educated guess from the trailer. You know, I don't know. It does look pretty cool. Looks like a cool idea. I mean, it's going to be in first person. That's what Bethesda does. And I like Bethesda games, so I'll probably give it a shot.
Is Bethesda developing it?
Yeah.
Oh.
At least I think so. Oh no, they're not. Arcane is the people who did Dishonored. Okay. Yeah, Bethesda's just publishing.
Okay. I can dig it.
And speaking of Dishonored, they spent a really long amount of time talking about Dishonored 2 in this conference, like 20 minutes or so. Like they showed a lot. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know. I could never really get into the first Dishonored. I own it, but I've never really played it all that much. I tried, and it just never really caught my interest. So, but I hear it's okay. I mean, I hear it's worth the time. I don't know.
I really liked it. A lot.
Are you going to get Dishonored 2?
Yeah. Okay. It looks really cool.
Cool. What do you think, Michael?
I didn't really get a chance to watch it. I have had a copy of Dishonored sitting around for a long time, and I've putzed around on like friend systems with it. It seems really cool.
Yeah,
I should play it. I should play Dishonored.
I know that's what I keep telling myself too, but I've never gotten around to it yet.
Tucker, should I play Dishonored?
Yeah.
Should I play Dishonored first, or should I finish Bloodborne first?
That's an odd question.
I'll tell you what you could do with Bloodborne,
right, Michael.
I'll tell you what you could do with Bloodborne. Shove it up your ass.
Uh-oh.
Moving on. Microsoft. The big stuff coming out of Microsoft's conference is, I guess you could say unsurprisingly, it's not the games. It is, in fact, the Xbox One S and
Scorpio.
Project Scorpio, which...
Get over here.
It's very odd.
That's
I've
Scorpion,
said
Michael.
I've said on this podcast in the past that I thought that they were abandoning the Xbox platform. And now it would appear that they are not doing that. But what they're doing, I mean, it really is unprecedented. It's you're making a console line that developers, in theory, they're going to make the same game, but it's going to be like PC settings now. It's going to be like one is going to be ultra settings, and one is going to be like medium settings. But if you buy the game, you're going to be able to play it on all of them. It's like, okay, I guess. But again, I don't really see... You're basically tricking the people who are not PC people and really haven't ever looked into it, into like getting on the program with the way the PC works. Which I would not be surprised if that leads to a much, much, much bigger decline in physical sales of any kind.
Counterpoint, look at iPhones.
Okay.
People buy an iPhone, a couple years later, there's a new iPhone, it's way better, and then people buy the new iPhone.
Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. iPhones and smartphones in general are usually tied to some sort of arrangement with with like the dealer, like
a contract.
Yeah, either a contract or now like the flex plans, where you're basically getting it on credit, so to speak, and you're paying it off while paying your phone bill at the same time. You know, that's really been the idea. That's how people are able to get a new iPhone every year. If they had to buy it outright, they wouldn't be able to.
Plus, they get so much wear and tear on them, and plus the whole like obsolescence within a year kind of thing. It kind of makes one of those things that you're going to regularly replace anyway.
Right. Whereas a game console has, you know, a specific set, at least up to this point, has had a specific set of hardware and games made for that hardware. I mean, you know, it's very... I don't know. I just don't. I don't think I like it. I mean, they're like Project Scorpio. Nobody gets left behind. It's like, well, unless you want 4K, then I guess you get left behind. Like, I don't know.
I don't care about 4K. But let me tell you something.
That's true. I don't have a 4K TV right now anyway, so it's not like I would care. But my point is, you're like trying to make all of us with an Xbox One right now feel like we've still got something valuable. It's like,
I don't feel that way.
I don't feel that way anymore. Like as soon as the Xbox One S comes out, I'm gonna feel some tech envy. That's for sure. I'm one of those people. I feel the tech envy all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't have that. I really want that.
You're green with it.
What? I'm green with tech envy? Yeah, I'm green with tech envy. That's for sure.
So funny.
But what I was going to say is, the thing that bothers me about Microsoft now is what they're doing is saying, here's that franchise you liked from last gen, but it's being made by someone else. And that's how they're handling Halo, and that's how they're handling Gears, and that's kind of all they have. Like,
I don't know. They have Forza.
Yeah. It's like the 18th Forza game.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about Forza Horizon 3. We're in dune buggies now, and we're flying around, and it's a Forza open world.
Here in Russia.
That was really bad too. I should just bring Donald and Bernie back out, and then we can have a real party.
It's okay.
Are you sure? My Trump impression is going to get...
What's your take on EA, Bernie? I need to know. Not EA, E3.
I will tell you this. My Xbox One that I have at home, I will not be replacing it for the Project Scorpio. Because I believe that it is a huge mistake.
Screw you, Zach. Next conference.
No, we didn't talk about Recore.
There's nothing to talk about.
That's not true. Recore looks really cool. I liked the idea last year when they talked about it initially, and now they've shown some gameplay, and it looks like a pretty cool, almost like a platformer style game. Platforming action adventure, like taking control of the different robots. Maybe you'll be able to choose different robots for different situations. I mean, that's kind of what it seems. So I like the idea.
No, I really like the idea too. Recore is actually one of the games that I was like, No, Xbox might be worth it.
Recore may have been the only original IP game that I saw that I was like, I will probably buy that.
Yeah, actually. I'm kind of checked out on Gears now, so...
We're talking just in Xbox or in all of E3?
Probably all of
just Xbox.
E3. I mean, I saw one other game that in the Sony conference that I would be interested in, but otherwise, I think all of E3.
Was it the Skylanders?
No.
Oh.
I didn't even see that one, so.
Oh, Scalebound. That was the other one I was like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, you guys.
It looked like crazy Zelda-ish monster fights with like...
I mean, I'm not into the idea. I'm not into Scalebound at all, so.
It didn't look that crazy to me. He was like standing there.
Yo, you beat the monster in the one form, then it goes to other form, and you fight it in that form, and he goes back and... I don't know. I like multi-stage boss fight kind of games.
Maybe you'd love Skyrim.
Smack it with a sword until things happen. Sometimes you shout.
Sometimes.
Boos Roda!
That's the shouts you don't shout.
Shout,
Yo.
let it all out.
In Skyrim, you can shout bears off of cliffs, and that's maybe one of my favorite games.
Yeah, that's so true. In Skyrim, I remember using the whirlwind dash shout to go off a cliff into the water, and I survived. Like, I was like, I need to get down from here, and then I just like used the whirlwind dash to go far enough out where I would land in the water, and then I survived.
Can I?
Story.
Sorry. I
had to have been so high up. I was so high up, guys. It was the coolest moment.
I just need to tangent this for a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, I was playing Overwatch, and there's that map, and it's in Russia, and when you go out, on one side there's a building, and on one side there's like a river. And what happened was there was a Lucio on the other team. It was just hiding in the corner right outside the spawn. So as people would go out, he would do that thing where he pushes them, and they would just go flying off. And I had no idea what was going on. So there's this really good play of the game video where somebody gets pushed up to the cliff, and then I'm just kind of like wandering around the cliff because I had no idea what happened to the person. And you can just see me look like an idiot, and then I get pushed up. I hope that ends up on the internet.
We're gonna take a break from the E3 talk because you're on this tangent, and I need to get my thoughts on this game out there because we haven't really talked about it since I played it. Well, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it.
Okay, fine. Okay, Overwatch.
Okay, we'll get back to it. All right. I played Overwatch. Granted, I don't own it, and I didn't spend like hours and hours with it, but I have played it. I played through a lot of the characters, not all of them.
How many loot boxes did you buy?
None. Why would I buy them?
I don't know. Why did I buy them, Zach?
Skins?
I don't know why you bought them because you're a fucking idiot. My point is, this
it feels so good though because the controller vibrates when you open them.
This game was very, very well made. Absolutely, super well made. Top-notch shooter mechanics. Everything seems to be pretty well balanced. I cannot complain about the gameplay at all. It seems to be pretty solid.
Done.
No, not done. I can complain about the fact that they spend so much time, and we argued about this in our Facebook chat, but now we're going to argue about it in real life. They spent so much time focusing on building these individual characters, and they did come up with stories for them. They just don't present them to you in the game. And I think that if a game like Destiny gets criticized for not giving you enough story in the game, which it did, rightfully.
But that's a single-player game.
Yeah, but this game should also be a single-player game.
Destiny
I guess is my argument.
Kind of build itself as a story-driven experience, and that
Overwatch built itself up as nothing. Oh, I apologize.
No, it built itself up as a crazy.
Actually, if we really want to get technical here, every trailer that I saw for Overwatch was focused on the characters, which would lead you to believe that it is a single-player, story-driven experience. That is not at all.
They're getting
what
all
it
that
was.
crap out of the way so they don't have to litter the game with it.
No, they're not getting crap. It's not crap. It's important. I can't believe
it exists, and you could go watch it.
No, it's different. I don't want to watch it. I want to experience it. That's what video games are for. No, it's not the same. So
it is.
No, I don't understand. I don't understand how you can keep saying this when you're a fan of Hideo fucking Kojima.
Yeah, but he's not making multiplayer shooters except for Metal Gear Online, which I don't play.
Right, he's not. But my point is, you're saying that the story does not matter to the game when
not
you're
to Overwatch.
Okay, but it does matter to Overwatch. It matters to the overall quality of the game.
I don't think so at all.
Okay, well then you're insane. I don't understand.
Because like you made the Battleborn
at the end
comparison.
of the day, when you connect, why is The Legend of Zelda 30 years later still on the top of the food chain?
That doesn't have a story. The first Legend of Zelda has no story whatsoever. The whole story is there's a Triforce and you save the princess. That's every Zelda game.
But that's not, well, that's the first Zelda. My point is the series as a whole has a mythology, has characters that appear in every game because they've structured the story to go that way. It has
in a book.
No, it's not in a book.
They put the story in a book.
No, they
totally did.
They have a book with the story.
The actual mythology wasn't clearly outlined until they released that Hyrule book thing a couple years back.
I would argue that that's not true because they kind of lined up a lot of the mythology with Wind Waker, actually.
I mean, yeah, but they didn't like go into, well, this is the timeline when Link
timeline. I'm not even talking about timeline. I'm talking about like Hyrule has a distinct feel. The characters have a distinct feel. You feel like you're in another, like you feel like the world is familiar, and yet with every Zelda game it changes and you've got new things to discover. That's why the Zelda franchise is successful, because people feel like they're, in some ways, I guess it sounds cliche, but it's almost like they're coming back home. So that's what makes a video game franchise, when you have a personal connection to it. You could say the same thing about, I'm not even a fan of Metal Gear, but I know you guys can say the same thing. You love Snake, and you love the characters of Metal Gear.
Snake. V has come too. And yet, Metal Gear Solid 5 had very little story and was still an excellent game.
That's not even true. It wasn't an excellent game. I'll go out to say that from a perspective of someone who didn't play the other ones.
I dropped the airstrike on myself.
Cool.
That was amazing.
I fell off the cliff, Zach.
He did it a couple times.
We didn't
bring an extra truck.
I don't think we beat that mission, or I didn't. No, but I had a good time.
Okay, my thoughts on this, including the whole Zelda thing. I think a part of why
I was just using that as an example.
No.
I was just using that as an example.
No. You had your chance.
No. I'm clarifying that it's not just. I wasn't pinpointing Zelda as the example. I was saying it is a example.
No, I mean I'm using.
Or an example.
I'm going to use this as the same thing, and why I think it doesn't need Overwatch doesn't need a story for you to connect with the characters.
Okay.
Or to make that connection. And I think a part of it is your experience with this character. They kind of like give it to you like, oh, you're Link. You're the silent protagonist who goes saves the princess. But ultimately, the connection you make with Link isn't because of what they tell you he does. It's what you do as him and how you interact with the other people as him. Or like, I don't know. It's like the same, like that's how I view Overwatch. Why I can sit there and say all these characters are great characters, and why you pick your main maybe. Like, oh, I connect with McCree and Diva as the characters that I like to play as, just because I think they have the great personalities or whatever. And like they outline those personalities very clearly in the game, the way they interact with the other characters, and then you kind of just go in there and you give it its own life, and like it takes on its life, like this life of its own and the story of its own through you. And what makes Overwatch great isn't this narrative behind it, but it's like, oh, that time when I was McCree and I got 12 kills or something, or I knocked out the entire team and I did that on something.
Well, Michael, I think you've made a very good argument. You make a very good point. However, I'm inclined not to agree with you because of a fatal flaw, and that is the Winston introduction to the game when you boot it up.
That is a terrible intro to that game.
No, that introduction sucks.
They should be fired.
But what I'm saying is, like, he sets it up like like there's this grand narrative. He sets it up like, so here we are, and he basically tells you it's the Incredibles. He's like, we used to be heroes, and they used to love us, and now they didn't, and we all went away.
Says, is this thing on?
Yeah, right. He does say that, but he also says, "Well, this is the what we used to be, and now they don't like us, but we're heroes. Now we're back." And it's like, what are you back for? What are you back for? To fight each other? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Robots.
No, that's fucking ridiculous.
Like the actual thing is, isn't it like a training simulation or something? Like
the other team is robots.
They never explain that. They never explain that. Never.
The other team is
not even in the training. In the training, it's like, oh, hello, Order 76 or Soldier 76.
We're all soldiers now.
Whoa, I used to be a leader.
Heroes never die, Zach.
Yeah, fuck you. Okay, I don't like this game. I don't like that they don't give you any information. I don't like that they treat it like it's got some sort of story, but they never actually let you play through it or show it to you. It is a flaw. It is a place where the game falls short, and for that, it will never be my game of the year. Never.
Okay. Can I ask Tucker a question here?
Hold on, just a second.
No, Tucker. It's totally related to this.
I know. So is this.
Okay.
Zach.
Rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3, rock.
Rock.
1, 2, 3, scissors.
Scissors.
Tucker, you can't do that. You gotta say it at the same time.
All right, Michael, shoot.
1, 2, 3, paper.
You win.
Fuck. Okay. You played Battleborn, which is a similar game, kind of, and it had story, and it had a story mode.
Oh my God,
it's a character-driven multiplayer game. It had a story mode. How was the story mode in Battleborn?
Probably the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but it's not really fair to say because they're made by different people. But like
Tucker, do you think Overwatch could be translated to a single player game like Battleborn was?
It doesn't need to be, sure.
Okay.
But it's like sticking a multiplayer mode into a single player game just to have it. Overwatch doesn't need a single player because it's not about that.
But it is about that, is my point. They go out of their way to make it about that. In the they start the game with a video explaining the setting. And then they don't give you but they don't explain it enough. They tell you that this thing is here. That is not something we should have to do. This is a video game.
In every video game.
No, you don't. You don't do that in every video game.
You play until the cutscene, and then the cutscene.
Cut in here. This applies to other video games. Yeah, like Halo. How much of the Halo storyline in the games is influenced by the expanded universe?
All of it.
Actually, until Halo 4, pretty much none of it.
Well,
Halos 1 through 3 were written without the books in mind.
Halo 2.
He gave them back their bomb.
Why is Avery Johnson there when we saw him in a video die?
Because the grunty nipple or
Good
whatever.
Good question. I don't really. I mean, they didn't really explain it in the game. He just sort of showed up.
All video games are dumb. Can we talk about the press conferences some more? Nerf this, Zach.
No, Matt, I think you hear. I think you understand my point. You just don't want to acknowledge that I'm right. That's fine.
No, I understand your point.
Let's turn it up.
Like if they didn't have that video at the beginning, if they never had the trailers as clearly like, oh, let's introduce this character. It's like they made you think that there was going to be something to this game, and there isn't anything to this game. It's just a fucking shooter with a whole bunch of people around, and that's all it is, and that's all it ever will be. And it could have been so much more.
It could have been a single player campaign you play once and you're like, oh, okay, whatever.
Well, no, they'd have the multiplayer. They would have the multiplayer as well, and it would still be just as successful. They just would have, hell, it would have been even more successful.
But think about how many man hours and money they would have had to pour it into this campaign.
Yeah, but think about how many man hours and money they poured into it anyway. Also, the multiplayer shouldn't be the draw. That's what's wrong with this industry.
This is just your hang up about multiplayer shooters or something.
No, the industry is...
This was designed as a multiplayer game. That's the idea behind the game.
Then they shouldn't have marketed it the way that they did.
I never got from the marketing that
we can criticize Halo. We can criticize Halo 5 for its marketing because they did seemingly promise some things. Yeah, they did seemingly lie to people. They didn't actually lie to people. They built up a fight that didn't really happen. They didn't actually lie to you. They just kind of depicted something that could. But my point is, they did the same things that Overwatch did. You're criticizing Halo for it, but you're not criticizing Overwatch.
Because they never like introduce Overwatch as they don't really introduce it as a story-driven thing though. They kind of like introduce characters the same way League of Legends introduces its characters. It's just like here's this character, you can play as him. I don't know anyone that looked at Overwatch and thought, oh, this is going to be a story-driven kind of game.
I need to know Roadhog's backstory.
The very first trailer with like all of the guys who were fighting each other and the kids, like they were trying to protect the kids, and then Winston like went rage mode and all that stuff. Like that was so clearly a trailer that it didn't lend itself to anything of what the game actually became. So
right. I don't know. Ultimately, I don't think it even mattered though, because I don't know, man. I don't sit there and think, oh, if this would be so much better playing as Winston if I understood what Winston's story was.
He's a monkey.
Yeah, he's a space monkey.
On a very base level, you are getting some sort of enjoyment out of the game no matter what. But like, I'm saying it could be better, and I think we should expect games to do better.
But it could also have been way worse. I don't know how that game translates to a story mode. I don't see how it could translate to a story.
Yeah, I don't think a story mode automatically makes the game better.
Well, no, it does. I don't think it automatically makes the game better either. But if it's executed well, then the game is amazing. For example,
but you could criticize any game for not having good things in it.
For example, Doom.
Doom has bad multiplayer mode.
It's really not that bad. It's just like not that good. Like that's kind of really the issue. Like it's passable. It's a multiplayer mode. It exists, but it's not as good as the single player. But my point is, the single player is amazing, and the
multiplayer in Overwatch is amazing.
They took the time and they made a campaign that you can actually sink your teeth into. That's something that we should applaud. That's something that we should expect.
I've played 20 hours of Overwatch.
I know. That's your mistake. I don't know what's wrong with you. You're some kind of fucking idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I don't know.
Can we talk about Sony?
Yeah, we can talk about Sony.
Done with Microsoft, damn it.
Oh, fine. What happened?
I wanted to talk about Battlefield and fucking Final Fantasy, but no one ever wants to talk about that. Oh, Tekken 7 was there too. No one ever wants to talk about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Zelda.
Yeah, cool. Fine, whatever. Talk about Final Fantasy. I thought that the Final Fantasy thing that they showed at the Microsoft conference did not look good. Like, I don't know if it was just the guy who was playing it at the time or whatever, but he didn't seem like he knew what he was doing.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Oh man, that VR stuff though with Final Fantasy, that was so bad. Oh, it was like nightmare game.
VR future. Oh, but Tekken, Tucker. Tekken 7.
I don't know. It looks cool.
Okay.
It looks like Tekken.
Okay. I don't know. It looked cool. It's been, 10 years?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah, the last Tekken 6 came out in 2007.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What about Take Tournament 2?
I don't know when that one came out, but I was talking to someone and they said, we were talking about it today and we looked it up and yeah, Tekken 6 came out in 2007. It's been 10 years, or will have been 10 years.
Michael, I'll be real with you.
Okay.
Let me wrap. I don't really know much about Tekken.
I don't either.
There's a bear man, or a jaguar man.
Dude has weird wings on his head.
Yep. There's a bear. There's a robot.
They speak Japanese sometimes.
Yep. There's a wood man.
Yeah. Guy has like windmill kicks someone like every game like that.
Yeah. And that's our Tekken discussion.
Okay.
This is why we don't talk about Tekken.
Hey, Hachi.
Moving on to Sony.
Yes.
I dig the presentation. They had the orchestra. That was cool.
Classy.
I thought it's kind of weird that they were like, Lego Star Wars demo, it's out right now. And like everybody said, oh, it's PlayStation 4 exclusive. That's not true. You can download it for Xbox as well. I just did it. So like, don't listen to the lies. It's out there. And it's cool. I like it.
Okay.
Michael, did you play it a little bit?
Yeah, I played it. I played through the demo.
What'd you think?
Gameplay was fun. It was like a slightly updated Lego game. Okay, one of the big things that's like that's supposed to be a draw for this is that it has the actual voice cast, right? And it's like cutting in stuff from the movie, right?
Yeah, they cut in stuff from the movie and they recorded new dialogue.
I don't think it fits.
Oh, the stuff from the movie?
Yeah,
You know, I agree.
Like
what I saw
weird...
was weird. Yeah, they like spliced in because, well, it's a Lego game, and they don't tell the movie like exactly as it happens. They reimagine the scenes, and they're like, oh, like this is the funny version or whatever. So,
right,
like,
but it still keeps the same tone. Like you still have
right.
this. Like Adam Driver still gives his monologue as freaking. Why can't I think of his name?
Kylo Ren. Yeah.
He does the Kylo Ren monologue where he's talking to Vader's helmet and everything, and it's like this really serious conversation.
And he's like sitting in
the
his
same
bedroom.
tone. The same music is playing, but as his head's fading out, you see like, oh, there's this poster of Darth Vader without a shirt riding a surfboard. And it's like it's this weird dissociative like vibe to the whole thing, and it's like that throughout the entire thing. And then like you have these parts in the actual game where they cut in dialogue from the movie, but
that I actually really like because
I didn't like that. It was like weird reactions that felt like out of place.
No,
like,
I mean
here's
like
Rey saying that thing Rey said in the movie. Oh, but she's saying it while you're beating a Lego stormtrooper.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like when they re-recorded dialogue for like the specific situations that they put you in the game. Like, oh, we need to get to the ship, but it's being blocked by this thing. Like, they're actually talking about it, and it's the real people. Like, that's cool to me.
That's cool, I guess, but as a whole, I don't think having the actual, like, I don't know. Like,
look,
telling
Michael,
the story
I'm gonna be real with
the
you.
The dialogue was really bad.
Michael, I'm going to be real with you. Harrison Ford isn't a Lego game. Let's just take it for what it's at, okay? Let's just appreciate that.
Them EA budgets, I tell you.
That's
anyway.
right.
I believe that was the case as well with the Lord of the Rings game. Not here.
Yeah, but okay, but the thing with the Lord of the Rings game too, the audio when it cut it in was just plain bad.
Yeah, I didn't like that game very much.
Yeah.
You guys went crazy over the Sony conference, so I think I'm going to let you drive the car on this conversation.
Yes.
And I will put in my input on the things that I noticed that I liked.
Oh, there's a little bit of a kick there. All right, we're driving. Okay, Tucker.
Okay, you guys don't drive the car off the road now. Come on.
I don't have insurance.
Beep, beep.
Guys. Anyway, Tucker. Okay.
Sup?
Sony conference.
Hit me.
What was your favorite part?
It had to be the Kojima.
Dude.
Everything about that was just like...
Norman Reedus is like, he's like naked.
He has a C-section scar.
It's a fetus. And it's like alien. There's a bunch of dead stuff. There's things floating.
He's got future handcuffs. And then there's like people in the sky.
Oh my god.
Okay, now this is where I need to cut in. This is a game produced by Hideo Kojima. It's written by Hideo Kojima. Lead designer is Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima game. Whatever. Hideo Kojima. Fuck. We're gonna give him a huge thing where he's walking down a ramp and there's like he walks too fast for like the ramp to like form under him like they were doing with the graphics. I guess he don't give a fuck. My point is, it's very interesting because he does treat the medium like an art form in a way that nobody else really does. I mean, he has these credits, he has this movie thing, whatever. But this trailer was not good.
Excuse me.
What?
I'm you're excused. You're excused.
Okay.
It was not good. It was a dude who was naked and he was holding like a fetus, and then he had like scars on his stomach. Like, am I supposed to believe that he had a child or something? Then
Maybe.
There's like 5 weird floating people, and basically this trailer was like, here's Hideo Kojima and here's Norman Reedus, some guy I've never even seen, and this is. No, I know he's on Walking Dead, but I don't fucking watch Walking Dead, so it doesn't matter.
Have you seen Boondock Saints?
No, never seen that either.
What?
Like we don't even know what kind of game it is. They never even told us. Is it what we don't even know. My point is,
No, but you do know that it's going to be some kind of plot line that only Hideo Kojima could have.
You're gonna know it's
AKA it's gonna be one of the worst literal abortions to come out of video games. And what am I supposed to do about that? I'm not gonna play this game.
You don't have to care about it. It's not for you.
Yeah, then but they make it such a big deal, like it's supposed to be for everybody.
Because other people like it. Because they like video games.
I just need to know why. I just need to know why you guys like this fucking clown. This clown show. It's a clown show. Am I the only one who sees through the lies? The lies of
that's Todd Howard.
No, Todd Howard. So help me, Todd.
Oops. I have a question. Have you ever seen Hideo Kojima and Todd Howard in the same room at the same time?
No, I have not. Oh, maybe they're the same person.
Except he's got a voice like this.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
No, he does not.
They bet you down.
Climb every mountain.
My point is, it's a clown show. Moving on.
No, but there's context here beyond it being crazy, because Norman Reedus was going to be in the new Silent Hill game. And then that got all the kerfuffle.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did forget about that. So you're right. That is significant. My apologies. I forgot.
Thank you.
Forgot about that.
Okay.
And then there's the fact that as far as storytelling in video games goes, Kojima's been pretty much in the front line of that kind of stuff, and has been very unique in his voice in that, and has been very creative in that regard. And he clearly has some kind of weird new idea about that. And for people like me who find that stuff very interesting, who have found the Metal Gear Solid universe very interesting, and what was going on in PT so interesting, it's like that's such a big draw, is to see, oh, he has another crazy idea. It's bound to be amazing how this works out, at least to someone like that.
All right.
Like me, I guess.
I just want to point this out. Here's a good example. Something from a creator that everybody loved, and he was given complete creative control, green light, and here's how it turned out. The Star Wars prequels. End of discussion.
No, but Kojima has that control over every game he makes, because...
But he hasn't had that control for all of his career.
For a long time, he has.
Yeah. For some of his best games, yeah, he has.
Well, Metal Gear 5 wasn't one of those best games, so... I played it. Wasn't good. Wasn't good.
Okay. Good. Well... Zach, I'm pretty sure you just like movies. And sometimes video games have parts of movies in them, and it's like, no, this is a game.
No, that's not true. I really like Legend of Zelda. It's not really a movie.
That's true. It'd be a bad movie.
Whoa.
Or a Netflix series.
Actually, you're right. It probably would be a bad movie. That's why I'm glad they haven't made one.
Yet. God of War, I would like to talk about.
Oh, yeah. God of War. I watched that gameplay thing, too. That was surprisingly cool looking.
Yes. It was.
That reaction. This was beautiful. Thank you for that exchange.
I've never been a big God of War person. I've played through a couple of the games. The ones on PSP were like the most fun.
Okay.
But like, I think the idea of taking it to a new mythology it's one that I didn't even think they would even ever do.
I thought we were done with God of War as a whole.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Point.
Never. No video game was ever dead. Skyrim Remastered. It's a really cool idea, but the gameplay scares me a lot.
How so, Tucker?
Well, Michael, I'm glad you asked. So when God of War came out, character action games were a big thing. And you had Devil May Cry, and you had blah, 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 a bunch of different games. And now we don't have any of those games anymore, because every game is a third-person cover-based shooter. And to show this new God of War and be like, hey, this looks a lot like Tomb Raider.
Can I make a quick interjection here that I forgot to say before? Speaking of third-person cover-based shooters...
Go on.
Lego Star Wars.
That section if you're playing as if you're playing with 2 players, it looks like a nightmare.
Honestly, that was my favorite parts of that.
But if you're playing as a single player, it looked like it was a lot of fun. But if you're playing as 2 players, it splits the screen in half, and it looks like a nightmare.
I want to see this.
That was a quick interjection. All right, back to God of War.
So I saw a bunch of positive reaction to this trailer where people are like, they're finally doing something new with God of War. But I don't think that making it like a different game, I feel like all games are converging on one point, and they're all just going to look like Tomb Raider at some point. Because I know making just another God of War game would be like kind of disappointing in its own way, but it would also be one of the only types of those games coming out.
I get you.
And I miss.
Does that bring us back to this Zelda thing?
It can. That's the grand finale. We're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
This is a long podcast. And I'm loving it.
So okay, God of War.
Yes.
Zach, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Oh, God of War. I pretty much already said it. I mean, I think. Like Zelda, they're taking the core character and they're giving him like a rebirth, I can only assume that this is another incarnation of Kratos. It's not like Kratos picked everything up and said, "Well, I'm gonna move to Norway," or whatever, you know.
That could be Kratos. He's a god.
I mean, it looks a lot like Kratos. Oh, yeah. I guess it could be the same Kratos, but I would think it would almost be like just another person who's kind of in the same predicament. I don't know.
I mean, the dude has all the markings of Kratos, I thought.
Yeah, he does.
Only he has a beard now.
I think it would be really weird if he
But he's got the
Kratos.
same white skin, same red face, yeah.
Yeah, the beard. Oh my god.
Kratos the Mountain Man. He is. I guess he is not. He's not a normal human. He's
Kratos.
He could have just kind of picked up the. Picked up and moved to Norway.
Oh my god. I just remembered that the whole thing with God of War is that his family dies, and now he's got another kid.
Uh-oh. Watch out, kid.
That's not really what I meant.
Watch out, kid. I think you're going to die.
It's going to be an interesting relationship between these 2 characters because Kratos has lost a son.
Sure. Perhaps.
I don't know. That could be cool. But if it's like, you got 15 XP for finding this cave, then I'm not interested at all.
And I don't think it will be.
No, I don't
but
know.
it was.
Oh, was it? I didn't really notice that. I don't know.
I didn't see that either.
It was like location discovered plus 15 XP.
So it's Far Cry.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot you said Tomb Raider. So it's Tomb Raider.
Yeah. The combat in God of War Originals was very good. This didn't look very good.
It didn't look the same. No, that's definitely a different take on it. But we shall see. We shall see what happens.
Okay. So anything else on God of War before we go to the next game here?
So God of War originally was made by the guy who made Twisted Metal. Do we know if he's? I think he left after 3. Is there any word if he's part of this?
I have no idea.
Not sure. I'll check quick.
I'm going to guess no.
Well, what other games in this conference did you guys want to talk about?
Oh, Tucker.
Yes.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty looks...
Let's give Zach an aneurysm here.
I'm just going to shut you guys off for a second or take my headphones off or something because I really don't want to talk about this.
Okay. I thought they did a lot more with it than I thought they would.
Yeah, I agree.
That was like a space battle.
That was Halo shit, but
Word.
That was... You're flying around in space, there's fighters and stuff.
Grappling people and kicking them.
Putting grenades on them and throwing them into space. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, man, it's a mistake. And I'm not saying
That's what people say about every single Call of Duty.
Well, no, but guess what? They're getting more and more right because they're selling less and less copies. They are so desperate to get this game back up to the sales numbers that it was, that they have paired it completely. You cannot get Modern Warfare unless you buy the fucking $80 version of the new game.
Let me sing you a tale. Let me tell you a yarn.
Is this the Skyrim remaster yarn?
Bring a bit of wisdom from my people from back in the day. Once upon a time, there was this series. It was a wonderful series at the time. It was called Call of Duty. You go to like
Call of Duty's never
Normandy,
been a wonderful series. Let's get that out of the way.
Stuff, and then you go back to Normandy and you shoot stuff.
There's a Russian part.
It's Russia. You meet Reznov. You ask what the numbers mean, Mason.
Yep. Soap.
What the numbers mean, Mason? Isn't
But
that like Black
slowly
Ops?
but surely, everyone starts complaining about this annual release for this game. Like, oh, this new Call of Duty is a lot like the old Call of Duty. Oh, this new Call of Duty is like the old Call of Duty. Why don't they change the formula?
And then they did. It was called Advanced Warfare, and it was awesome. And everybody's like, "This is dumb."
I want to go back to Normandy. So my question is, I kind of do, but I like where they're going with it. So it's like, to me, it's weird that people will take this series and they'll complain about how it never changes, how it's always the same game. And then they finally do something different. They do this big space game that by any other name would probably receive some kind of reasonable hype. But because it's a Call of Duty game, suddenly everyone's up in arms because it's different. Well, even though they've complained about not having any, like, about it being too much the same.
I understand your theory. I'm sorry, Tucker. Go ahead. But I've got a theory of my own on that.
I was just gonna say this just leads straight into Zelda. It's like all points are converging on Zelda.
A little bit.
Really quick interjection here. The David Jaffe was his name, who
David
did
Jaffe?
Jaffe did Twisted Metal and did the first two God of Wars. He jumped off after the second God of War.
The second God of War is a very good game.
Right. But he had nothing to do with God of War 3, and it doesn't look like he has anything to do with this new one.
3 was not as good as 2.
I'm sensing a relationship.
A correlation, if you will.
3 was fine. I think this looks better than anything that they've made since 2.
Okay.
So there you go. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Call of Duty. I have a theory.
Okay.
My theory on this thing you've brought up, Michael, is that in fact, Call of Duty became very, very big based off of a select audience, and that audience was a lot of people who don't play video games. They're people who play Call of Duty. That's what they do. They played Call of Duty because it was a war shooter, and they like war, and they like guns, and they like to be able to play with guns, and not in real life, but be able to kill people and do all that shit online. And when they started to actually make it kind of a creative game, like, I'm not saying I really, honestly, Black Ops 2, I had no problem with it. I thought it was fun. Black Ops 3, I mean, it's okay. The mobility is good, but like again, I was never really very attached to it. My point is this series has so much clout and so many people. Oh, this is Call of Duty. It's never deserved the clout, and it's gotten a ton of fame from the titles that weren't any good. So now you've got a whole selection of this fan base that loved that war shooter, and now they're not getting the war shooter that they want. They're not getting boots to the ground, and that's what I constantly hear from all the Call of Duty people that come into the store. They're like, I want boots to the ground Call of Duty. That's why everybody's jumping to Battlefield 1, because they want like a boots to the ground war game. They don't care about fucking Infinite War. You're right, Michael. You are right. If any other developer had come up with a game like Infinite Warfare and they had like called it something else and it wasn't a part of the Call of Duty franchise, it would probably be getting a lot of respect, so to speak. It'd probably be getting a lot of hype, but it wouldn't sell nearly as well. And unfortunately, it's still not going to sell as well as Call of Duty is going to hope that it would.
Do you think there'll be a multiplayer map where you can like grapple around in space and shoot people?
I mean, maybe.
Yes,
maybe
there will be, and
Dude.
I can't wait.
That sounds really good.
At least I hope there will be. I'd be really sad if there wasn't. Anyway,
I agree with you, Zach. I just want to say, Call of Duty 4 is like
not good.
Pivotal.
None of them are. None of them.
I think most of them are good. I'm just saying Call of Duty 4 kind of changed shooters in a major way.
I'd agree.
Probably.
With that.
You're probably. I remember playing Call of Duty 4 at my friend's when he got it, and he was talking about how it was huge, and I remember playing it, and I don't know. I've just never been very good at shooters. Maybe that's why I don't look at them in as high of a respect as you guys do. I don't know.
Sure. But that gets into weird things where I have nostalgia for it, so it's hard to say how much of that is.
Well, hey, you're gonna get the chance to see.
Yeah. No, because more Modern Warfare 2. I never really played much for.
Oh, of the original. Well,
except at like sleepovers.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Oh, did you guys?
Oh.
You guys up on that?
Really?
I wasn't really up on that. Like I looked at it and I was like,
Tucker, say your words.
Well, okay.
Words. You say your words.
I haven't played the first 3 Resident Evils. I've played all of them since then. And even a game like 6... Raccoon City. No, I didn't. Operation Code Veronica. Yeah, Resident Evil 0.
Operation Jill Sandwich.
Ooh, Master of Unlocking. This is Barry's Blood, Michael. The point I was trying to make is that even a game like 6, which is not very good, I still like it. I think I just like Resident Evil. Because it's got rookie cop Leon S. Kennedy. So if this is like them rebooting it so that it's something else.
But it isn't. It's called Resident Evil 7.
But it didn't look at all like Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's a way different kind of thing.
But this could also be like a PT thing where it's not exactly like what the game would be. It's just kind of this teaser.
Yeah. I think it's going to be more like somewhere between PT and Resident Evil. The impression I got of it was that it was more like PT and Outlast put into one kind of. That's not
interesting to me. That would be a bummer. But I also don't want just a sequel to 6.
Yeah. Well, my thing is what I've been hearing, because I never really had a lot of deep experience with the Resident Evil series either. Like, go to friends' houses, I've played bits and pieces of the 4th one here and there. I'm told Resident Evil 6 is a steaming pile.
It's not that bad.
That's a unique opinion from what I gather.
Yeah. There's good parts.
So this sounds like they're just they're trying to seriously change what they're doing and trying to see, maybe explore some new creative ground or something. I like the idea. I don't think, judging from what I've seen so far, I haven't had a chance to actually play it, but I've been kind of keeping up on it. It seems like it's PT light and a lot like Outlast. I didn't really like Outlast.
What was Outlast where you were with the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with Outlast, though, was more of its narrative kind of.
Yeah.
It was a narrative-heavy game with a really shitty narrative.
Nice.
But
just like Resident Evil. But my problem with Resident Evil, this new take on it, is one of the major appeals of Resident Evil is that it is kind of a B movie. In the 5th game, you're in a volcano and you punch a boulder. That kind of thing, you know?
I mean, yeah, and I get that.
But isn't the 5th game where it started to take a pretty major decline in the eyes of most?
Yeah.
No, 6 was definitely...
6 was like the death knell, but most people were like, yeah, 5 was okay.
5 is good, though. I think people were like... 5 is better than 1, 2, or 3. As a video game.
There's no sandwich in 5.
I know, but there's Sheva. Sheva. What was I going to say? In the 4th one, there's a tiny Napoleon man, and he makes a giant statue of himself chase you, and you have to run away from it. They're all really stupid. Video games are dumb.
And the thing I'm curious about is because it seems like they're a really campy series, like a B movie, and this trailer definitely is not campy. It's the opposite of campy. It's very much a PT kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how that's supposed to reconcile. And I think a lot of people are, and I think a lot of people are upset about that. But the converse of that is from what I'm gathering, is that people have been thinking Resident Evil's been kind of stale, or it's been kind of like resting on laurels hard or something.
Yeah,
so,
I'd agree with that.
Needed a shot in the arm.
Yeah, but I also think those games are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this looked really moody. But it didn't look like, oh man, I'm just having a good time shooting zombies and
definitely moody. You find a finger. You're
Yeah,
supposed to do something with the finger. No one knows what you're supposed to do with the finger yet.
Ooh.
I guess.
Are you
that's-
suggesting something?
Ew.
Ooh, a middle finger.
That's right. You can stick it up your ass.
Okay, there we go.
Where I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Either way, I welcome it. I understand why people are hesitant about it. It might just be that I'm upset that there's no PT and that the spiritual successor to PT doesn't exist anymore either.
Yeah.
That Allison Road thing got canceled.
I'm very interested in Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
I will play this game.
I'm really excited to play the demo.
Wow. All right, guys.
Was there anything else in that conference? I'm trying to think. I mean, there was other stuff.
I mean,
VR.
really a lot of VR. God, a lot of VR.
Yeah.
They're really going
that's
all
their
in.
thing this year.
They're going all in.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that yet. I don't feel like it's still worth getting a VR headset yet.
Well, every developer seems to be trying to do something major for it, and it's like, maybe they're just trying to push it as the thing. I mean, we all thought that it was too early to put out a new console, and we all just kind of adapted. So
Yeah.
maybe this is just going to become a piece of the puzzle now. I mean, seemingly Scorpio is going with VR in mind as well. So
Yeah, definitely seems that way.
If I was gonna get a VR headset, I would get the PlayStation.
Yeah, same.
all right, I think you guys are just Sony homers. I think you're.
No, I mean, because
It
like
just makes sense.
like the games that were like pitched and stuff for them. What's Tacoma? Is Tacoma going to be a multiplayer or is it going to be PlayStation?
Tacoma. I'm not sure I know what that is.
It's like it's done by the same people who I think did. I will look this up.
All right. While you're looking that up, I really did the other Sony game that or not necessarily Sony game, but the other game at the Sony console that makes me glad that I at least have access to a PlayStation 4. I do not own it, nor will I ever own one, because I will never ever tie my name to that. Detroit Become Human.
Yeah,
That looks like my jam.
that looked really cool.
Yep. That looks like
Zach.
my jam for show.
Sorry, did you play Until Dawn?
Oh yeah, I did. I really liked it.
Did you like it?
We talked
Yeah.
about this before. Yeah, I really liked Until Dawn. I thought it was a really cool experience. And
Please
I
don't
think
spoil. I'm playing through it.
Oh yeah, no, I won't spoil it. No, it was. I just thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great tribute to the horror genre, and I think that a game like that, which is kind of what Detroit seems like it's kind of, except Detroit's going even farther, it would seem.
Yeah.
The weird thing, Detroit, I've seen both trailers. I saw the trailer that was initially revealed like years ago when it was like still possibly going to come out on the PlayStation 3.
Is that when he's like on the train?
No,
bus?
that's like when the woman is being like put together.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the android woman, and then like
Yep.
like they figure
like-
out that she's like, wait, like
I'm not supposed to be here.
or no, she like something happens where
person.
they go through like the testing or whatever to like make sure that she doesn't have like complete sentience, and then
Yeah.
she like does, like she has like some sort of awareness, and so he's like, oh, we got to shut her down, and they like start to take her apart, and she's like, please, like she like begs him to let her live, and he lets her live, and then that's like the beginning. But that's kind of the weird thing is that it was a cool trailer, it was a cool setup for the idea, but now like both of the trailers like don't have anything to do with the real game, it would appear.
Yeah. Well, this new trailer definitely seemed like a snippet of gameplay.
It's very Blade Runner.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Very
that and No Man's Sky are games that I'm definitely going to have to steal my brother's PlayStation 4.
I'm with you on Detroit.
Yeah. You're like one of the only people then that's not like hyped on No Man's Sky. I'm not really super hyped on it myself, but it looks like a really cool open idea.
I'm really nervous about No Man's Sky. But anyway, to go back to the VR thing quick, Tacoma was a game for Xbox One. I was wrong.
What? That sounds so familiar. What is?
Made by the Gone Home team. You're like in a space station.
Oh, yes. I know what you're
Looks like space Bioshock, kind of. Not really. Kinda.
I don't think Gone Home is a very good game.
I'm not going to get Tacoma. But anyway, they did like... But I mean, like the things they're hinting at, they had Farpoint, which I still don't know what it is other than space shooter.
That looks cool, though.
They had the Battlefront X-Wing stuff. They had Arkham.
Yeah, that seems crazy. Zach, thoughts?
Yeah,
Rocksteady. Rocksteady is making that game. I'm so fucking upset. Why do they have to try to pull me in? They're so close. They're so close to pulling me into the VR thing, and I'm like,
I mean, they gave you Star Wars and Batman VR.
I know, and Rocksteady Batman VR. What am I gonna do with my life? I'm gonna be like, no. I think I know like 3 people who are getting the VR, so I might just like bum it off of them at some point.
Yeah, it still seems way too expensive to be.
$400 is a lot of money for a VR headset.
The future.
And
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Sony was pretty packed. Had a lot of cool stuff. Crash.
When the music started playing.
I think that'd be cool.
I got confused and excited, and then worried, and then excited, and then scared, and.
When he said it was just a remaster of the first 3, I was like, oh, okay, sure.
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's a thing. I'll probably get it, so I have access to those games again without having to go through emulating.
I think people are going to play those games and be like, what the hell are people talking about? Like, if you didn't grow up with Crash Bandicoot.
This game's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. People are going to be like, I don't. What?
Yo, you jump on the platform and whack the time guy. He ticks and goes boom. And
that's true.
On the other side. And
then you're on the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, you're riding a tiger. And then Cortex gets his butt kicked. And he's like, I need 2 big bags of ice for my head.
And then there's the minigame collection.
Sounds perfect.
Yep.
I love the game so much. Crash 2 and Crash 3 are both really good games. Anyway.
If that better be like a $30 collection.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to pay full price.
I don't know. Ratchet and Clank was $40.
Oh my god, don't remind me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Finally.
Zelda.
Finally, the very best presentation of the entire fucking E3 was
I agree. Sun and Moon do look good, and I totally am going to buy them.
What's the owl's name?
Was not a giant conference. It was in fact a video presentation with Reggie Fils-Aimé introducing us to the next fucking chapter of motherfucking Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I am ready to breathe in that wild. Oh my god, Zelda is back, and let me tell you, it is easily the most I've looked forward to a video game in quite some time.
I can vouch for that.
I got nothing.
Now we're gonna have this again. We're gonna have this conversation now in real life, so that we can just tear each other apart here for the last 15 minutes.
Zach, let me ask you a question.
I'm ready. I'll let you start this one out. Hit me with it.
What's a game you really don't like?
What's a game I really don't? Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay, so what if they introduce Zelda and they're like, check this out. We're gonna introduce a bunch of elements from Metal Gear Solid 5.
But Tucker, Zelda already had the giant talking whale.
That's true. It was a dream whale.
It was a dream whale. I remember that game. It was an awesome game.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening. You were like inside the whale's belly.
So imagine... Jabu Jabu. Imagine...
It wasn't Jabu Jabu. It was the windfish.
Imagine my pleasant surprise when it's Zelda, but with Minecraft in it. Finally.
But that's not what it is.
That's totally what it is. You chop down trees, you gather twigs.
That's not what it is. That's not at all what it is. There are survival elements to the game, but it has nothing to do with Minecraft. You're not building anything. You're just you have to make your own ammo, and you have to cook your own food so that you can get your hearts back. That's
what more Far Cry to me than it did Minecraft.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
No.
So.
What? You don't do any of that stuff in Far Cry.
Make your own ammo? Make your own health?
No, but that's not what they showed. They showed, like, I jumped into a tree and I got an apple.
Right, like they picked an apple off a tree to eat it later. Like that's what
jumped it up to an apple and then it was in his inventory.
Right, exactly. Like he climbed the tree, he got the apple to eat it later for health.
Why?
Because that's how the game works now.
Why?
Because it makes more sense than cut
How
open
does that
a
make more
pot
sense?
and have a heart in it. I don't know. I think it's a cool new take. It's a
It used to be
bold-
you would get a health from defeating enemies.
Yeah, you'd get like a heart from defeating enemies. You'd get like a heart from cutting open a pot.
It's like a video game.
Okay, so what would have happened though if we got this new Zelda game, or what looked
Okay.
like a new Zelda game?
Like that's I guess
And
what
it
I'm
looked
more
It looked
curious
like it was gonna
about.
be Skyward Sword again, or it looked like it was gonna be Ocarina of Time again, or something.
I think I might have spoken over you, Michael. I apologize. Yeah, ask your
That's all right.
question again.
Okay, so what would have happened then if they had revealed this new Zelda, and rather than have these new things like these moments where it looks like you're doing stealth kind of stuff, you're doing free roaming kind of stuff, you're collecting resources, where there are these new features and things, and instead it looked like it was Ocarina of Time again, or Twilight Princess again. What would have happened?
People would have freaked out and they
better?
would have sold 1 billion copies.
They're
No,
gonna do that
no, they
anyway.
wouldn't. No,
I know,
they
that's what
wouldn't
I'm
have.
saying.
No, they wouldn't have.
What?
If they would have done that, I would have written off Nintendo forever. They spent
You guys
so
like
much
Twilight
time.
Princess, and that's just Ocarina of Time again.
They spent so much time building this up as something that was going to be a fucking game changer, something that was going to change
I
Zelda
know.
forever. And guess what? It
It's
actually
not,
is going
because
to.
it's borrowing from other games.
No, but it changes that game and adapts this other idea behind what's going on in video games right now. You were saying before everything's going to be Tomb Raider. Everything's going to be Tomb Raider, but it's adapting that in a new, like,
And it's putting
new
its own
artistic style
Zelda
and a new
twist on it.
language, into a new world, into a new kind of system.
It's not a new world.
Well, you know what? No, yeah, it is a new world.
I
for
mean,
that kind of
it
system.
pretty much is a new world. I mean, this Hyrule resemble the only way. I mean, looking at, of course, the gameplay that they've been able to show, the only way that I can describe it, it almost feels like a Wind Waker-esque vibe, but like instead of everything being drowned, it's like everything's just been kind of like dead and dormant. Like you come out of a temple of resurrection. Like
3 days later.
what does that mean? Like that means that you're basically like a
Jesus.
test tube dude that they're like,
Oh.
Link, we need you to come and save the day. And it's like, well,
That's
what
every
does that
Zelda
mean?
game.
That means I'm almost like a clone. Like, but they've never treated it this way before. It's always
Embraced.
been like, you're like a kid and you come out of a village and
womb.
oh my god, it's time to go fight. Like this is
The
completely
bird stole your sister.
completely different from every exactly a bird stole your sister or
Oh, no.
the people stole your girlfriend. Like now
Oh, I hate it.
Cool.
you're
People
just
stole 'em.
you're just like a you're like a not like a hired gun, but like your true purpose is like to go and like become this hero, and you know that from the start. Like there's no that's the thing. Your least favorite part about Twilight Princess, Tucker, is the beginning where you're like a regular person.
No, that wagon part.
Oh
that's
yeah,
pretty
the
hard.
wagon part's pretty infuriating. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that was a big complaint of yours, is that it spends a long time getting to the action. This spends no time. It's just like boom.
Think about how much time you're going to spend cooking food so you can get health back in that game.
Then you're gonna have to be careful and not get hit,
Why?
because that's how the game is played.
Well, you can just make food.
But it takes time. Why do you want to sit there and take the time to make the food when
You don't want
to
to play this game, so don't do bad because you'll have to play it more.
No, don't do bad, because then you'll have to cook the food, because then you'll have to take the time. Or you could just be really good, not get hit, and then you won't have to eat.
Wait, then Tucker, is this just kind of like because it sounds like then your beef is with the whole, like all the mechanics that have to do with the whole survival kind of wilderness
Yes,
kind of thing.
and the open world.
Okay, so
I don't like open world games.
Zelda's always been
But
an
haven't
open
you
world
come out and
game.
said, like,
Zelda
you
has
like
always
Far
been an
Cry?
open world game. Let me just say that.
Far Cry did it to the extent that you can do something like that well. Far Cry 4 did that stuff well.
Okay, and you're saying that Zelda cannot?
I'm saying what they showed is not endearing itself to me in any way. Like, yes, okay, let's talk. Okay, Ocarina of Time, how is that not an open world game?
It is an open world game.
No, it's not, because it doesn't have all the crappy open world mechanics in it. where you
No,
have to get
those
out of
the way
open
you have
world
to go in that
mechanics are just something that's developed over time. It is the definition of an open world game. There's a large overworld. You really can take the obstacles in whatever order you want, as long as you have the proper equipment. I mean, I've done playthroughs of Ocarina of Time where I've gone and defeated, where I've gone and done the fire temple when I'm an adult before I get the hook shot. I mean, like, there's
You madman.
There's stuff like that that's possible all over Ocarina of Time. It is an early version of an open world 3D game. It doesn't
what I'm
have
saying
all the
is
same
open
mechanics,
world does not. That's not what open world means.
But that is what open world means.
It's not really though. An
Okay,
open world
what
means
does
there's
open world
little
mean?
side quests on the map, and you have to collect things.
Yep,
But
and
that's
you
every
still
Zelda
do
game.
that in Ocarina of Time. You still do that in every Zelda game.
No, I'm talking like the Ubisoft formula for an open world. That's what open world means in a modern context. And I think that's what they mean when they say this new Zelda will be open world. Ocarina of Time had an open world in it, but it's not an open world game as we envision them today.
So you're saying that you think that this Ocarina... Okay, I guess my argument is Zelda has always been an open world game. If you're going to make a Zelda game in 2016, I actually would like there to be more elements of what an open world game is in 2016. Because
But those are the worst elements of this games. It's like, oh, Assassin's Creed, climb the tower. You got to collect the feathers. You got to do the thing, and then you got
Well, you don't
enough
have
money.
that. What you have is survival gameplay kind of stuff.
I don't like those either.
Which isn't the same thing as a to-do list.
And it's not like, oh, if you don't eat, then you're going to lose health. Like, it's not going that far. It's just changing, like, you just don't get hearts from pots anymore. You have to eat. So what? It's just changing how you get your health back.
That's not the problem I had with Zelda. It wasn't that I got hearts from pots.
Okay, well, what was the problem you had with Zelda?
It's easy, and they lead you through everything, and it's not that it was linear. Linearity is not a problem.
Okay, I don't think it's gonna be easy. I think, again,
I do.
they made it, all of the interviews they did with everybody made it pretty clear that the idea of the game is to go back to the original Legend of Zelda style, which is that's a hard game. That's a very difficult game especially by the standards of 2016. I mean, if you go back and play that now without any kind of guide, it's pretty difficult. So what they want to do is they want to recapture that feeling where you can, much like Link Between Worlds, you can go, and if you can survive, then you can tackle whatever obstacle you want. But, like, obviously finding stuff along the way is going to be helpful. But they're not giving you any direction right off the bat. The person, they have like a map, like, oh, go to this location. But, like,
Well, to be fair, a lot of this is speculation because this game could be really different on launch.
I suppose you're right. But I don't know. It was they made it seem pretty strongly like this was the game that we were getting. But I suppose you're right. It could be different. My point is, from what I've seen, I like the direction, and I think that the challenge can still definitely be there. And I like the theme as well. They're changing it from this, like, more of a magic based to, like, more of a technology based. And this the Sheikah Slate is like, it's almost like an iPad. Like you're like summoning stuff with it, and you're using it to activate doors. Like,
It's telling you how to solve puzzles. It's
looks-
telling you where to go.
yeah, it looks cool.
No, that's not cool. Oh, remember the sword who told you how to do everything? And then every time you picked up one of the stupid collectibles, it popped up a window and it was like, here's this collectible you found. And then that was all in this trailer that just came out. You know what? Zelda game changed things and was difficult and cool. And it was called Majora's Mask. It came out on the N64 in 1987. And it had a 3-day cycle.
It was not 1987.
Oh. What year?
It was 2000, I think. 2001.
Yeah,
the
No.
latest.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, that game did things to Zelda. And
Yeah,
then they
this
said,
game will do
"Oops,
things too.
Release
bad things."
2000. Continue.
No, I understand. You even have a Wii U. I don't even have a system that I can play this game on right now. I'm gonna have to buy one.
Like, they showed combat. The combat doesn't look any different than what it has always been, which is you backflip and then you do the jumpy attack because it does twice as much damage, and then you're done.
You
Well,
go,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's Zelda.
I know.
No, but
But I mean, there's also like the stealth combat side to it too, though.
That was in Wind Waker.
Not
No, not stealth combat.
There were stealth sections.
There were some stealth sections,
really
but
bad.
yeah, they were pretty bad.
But this is new, so it'll be good.
I don't know.
I don't think they were bad.
I think that it is absolutely within the realm of possibility for this to be the best Zelda game ever made.
I think it could be. Maybe not the best. I think the idea of a Zelda game being the best Zelda game ever made is kind of hard to quantify anymore because it's not going to come out. Like, when Ocarina of Time came out, it was like a special thing within the context of its time. I don't think they could ever make another game with that kind of like context.
I think that game is still that.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time's still an amazing, amazing thing, but I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll have that kind of legacy. I think it'll be a really good game. I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
Guys, I have a confession.
What?
I don't really like Zelda games.
Yeah, we can tell. We can tell that. Maybe you should, I don't know, stop playing video games. I don't know.
Okay. That sounds beautiful.
I feel like that would...
Show me how, Zach.
I honestly, I feel like I'm going to stop playing video games because I feel like that would be the better thing for me at this point, would be to
Exactly.
just get out of this shit. You know what I mean?
You know what? If this Zelda game comes out and it's amazing and it's the best Zelda ever, I would be so happy, but I'd also be surprised. I'd be very surprised. But Doom came out and it was really good. Apparently.
Yeah, it's very good. So again, I'm
that.
consistently right. I just want to point this out.
Yep.
All of the games that I said were good wind up turning out very good.
Yep. Battleborn.
I didn't say Battleborn was good. Never did I say Battleborn was good because I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Battlefront.
Battlefront is pretty good at being Battlefront, but not like.
No, it doesn't have a single player.
It doesn't have a single player campaign, and that is a problem. You're right. So
they put out those trailers. They put out those movies, and it seemed to hint at this greater story. But
well, no, we knew that there wasn't going to be a single player campaign from the beginning of that game because they said it. They said no, there's not going to be. And then we were like, why? And then we all screamed, why? It's a criticism of the game. Anyways, is this it? Are we done?
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I think it'd be cool if everyone said what game they were most excited for out of that. But anyway.
Horizon.
Really?
I thought the Horizon demo was 10 times more interesting than the Zelda demo.
Huh.
I don't know if you guys saw that demo.
I skipped over it.
It's pretty awesome.
I wanted to go back to it. I just never got around to it.
She like hunts down and tethers this animal in the wild, and it's like she's actually tracking it. And it's like this thing. She rides a robot deer. It's like a robot elk. And she calls it, and she jumps on it while she's fighting this robot, and then she's like bow and arrow on the back of this robot elk, shooting at this giant robot dinosaur. And Zelda had getting apples from a tree, and you guys are crazy.
All right, Zach, what do you think? What are you most excited for?
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god!
Gotcha. I guess
and possibly Recore.
Okay, I came out of this wanting a lot of games, and I think Zelda is probably the top of my list, followed by Final Fantasy.
All right.
Which is probably odd.
I think something that we can all agree on is that this E3 was definitely eventful. I mean, it definitely had a lot of really interesting looks at games. I feel like there hasn't been an E3 this creative in a long time.
Did the Ubisoft lady come out and say girl boner?
She got pretty close. Dude, we didn't talk about Ubisoft at all. Let's talk about Ubisoft.
Wait, why? We didn't talk about it on purpose. I didn't even watch it. Nobody even cares.
Assassin's Creed.
Nobody even cares about them.
No, that's Steep.
Yo, Wild. Wait,
I thought Steep looked cool.
I think the Ghost Recon looks cool and is going to wind up being disappointing like the Division. Anyway.
I said this last year. I hate when they bring people in and they're like, these are people playing the game. And they're like, okay, guy, I got this Charlie here. I'm going to smoke him. Okay, wait. Oh, he's getting away in the truck. We got to chase him. And it's just like...
Go get Mike Foxtrot.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, Charlie. We are on the fire zone.
They did that last year.
All right, we got to rein it in. We got to wrap it up, okay? We've been talking for an hour and a half. This has been the E3 edition of the Double Jump Podcast. You can give us a like on the Facebook. You can give us a follow on the Spreaker. You can
the YouTube
subscribe on the YouTube. Tucker posts the socket, which is easily the most intellectual thing that any of us do on this.
I tried to escape the channel and it didn't go well.
Right? Yeah. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So yeah,
Persona 4 sometime and talk about things.
The same things again.
Sandwiches. How does Thurston Moore masturbate? Find out more when you watch us play old video games. Yeah.
Sometimes. And then you can always come back for more of the Double Jump Podcast. We're going to try to get one out now. I think we've been pretty good about getting one out just about every week. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you again soon.
And I'm Zach.